guys, today it is time for my December wrap-up. So as I had kind of already expected, my December reading was okay. I did have a book that was kind of long, that took me a really long time to get through. And then at the end of the month, the 1 week that I spent at my parents' place was obviously only invested in watching YouTube videos, catching up with all of the things, making use of the fast internet, and also like kind of random story. But one of my jazz class teachers gave me a lot of DVDs to watch together with my parents, and so we've been kind of trying to get through that list, and we still didn't finish all of these movies. So I was kind of occupied with a lot of different things, but I did read a bunch of graphic novels at the end of the month because these were kind of just things that I could read in between that, you know, didn't really take me lots of time. And I don't know, at some point I just kind of decided, okay, I'm just kind of done with reading novels for this year. I'm just gonna go with graphic novels and then kind of start anew in the new year. So the first book I finished was Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second and final book in the Six of Crows duology, and while I didn't love it quite as much as I love Six of Crows, I still loved it quite a lot. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I just really absolutely love these characters, and honestly I kind of thought that Leigh Bardugo probably could write a story where they all just kind of sit at a table talking to each other, and I would still like give it 5 out of 5 stars because I'm absolute trash for all of these characters. I just had so many feels in this book, like I ship all of them and I love all of them, especially Kaz and Inej. Whoo, they give me a lot of feels, and I don't know. This was just beautiful. I loved it. I think that the whole way the story is crafted is so smart and clever. There's just always something coming up that you don't know. Like, it's not enough to say there's twists and turns in this. This is just like a book full of it. It's crazy. You never really see it, and sometimes even when you see it, still there's something else that kind of changes or turns up or whatever. It's just crazy to me. I don't have the kind of brain capacity to understand what is even going on. I cannot wait to reread this at some point. I already know that this is definitely a duology that I want to reread soonish because I know there's many things that I didn't quite catch up on. So I think that that will be a lot of fun. But for now I need to like recover from feels because holy shit. Like Kaz and Inej were an actual couple that I looked up fanfiction for, and I don't read fanfiction at all. I read like one Peter and Katniss fanfiction, which was really great until I realized that it was a unfinished fanfiction that hadn't been updated in like 3 years. So that was like my one attempt at reading any fanfiction, and since then I've never really done it again. But these two destroyed me so much that I did look at some fanfiction. If you have any great Kaz and Inej fanfiction, please link me to it because I want to have it. Next I read Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. This is a YA fantasy standalone with 2 princesses falling in love, and it was one of my most anticipated releases of 2016, and I was so excited to pick it up. And I do have to say that for the most part it delivered what I wanted from it. I definitely liked the romance quite a lot, and it was kind of building up in a really nice way, but I felt like there was so much time invested in building this relationship up and kind of getting to the point where they kind of realize and confess their feelings. We then didn't have enough time to see them in this relationship and see them together, and that just made me really, really sad. I would have loved to see them kind of together after they know that they love each other more. Also, I in general enjoyed the world, but it was very, very political. Like the whole plot around it was super political because it is about a girl that gets sent off to this kind of other kingdom to marry the prince, and it is about them kind of marrying for the sake of like peace between different kingdoms. There's like traitors and murder and I don't know, but it was more on a political side than it was on a like fantasy side, and it has magic in it, but I don't really think that the magic was explored very well. The main character does have magic, but she is not allowed to use it. And so we don't ever really actually get to see anyone work with magic. And I just found that really, really sad. And I think this also just made me realize that I'm just not the biggest fan of fantasy standalones. I think they deserve more books, and it was just really present in this one for me, not only for the relationship that I wish we could see more of in a sequel, but also the world, and especially the magic around it is just something that I feel like in a sequel could be explored in such an amazing way. And I hope that at least maybe we get a spin-off and see more of the world, because there is these kinds of different like kingdoms where in some magic is forbidden and in other ones magic is like used and people are born with magic, and I think there would be so much more to explore in this. I just think it's kind of a bit of a wasted potential. I see a lot of potential in this world, and while I feel happy that for a lot of it the romance was kind of in the focus, I just think that they definitely deserved more moments with each other. So I gave Of Fire and Stars 3 out of 5 stars. If you're looking for a fantasy novel where you have a romance between two female characters, I can definitely still recommend it. Like, I didn't hate this book at all. I just felt like while the romance aspect was really, really great, the kind of world building and whole fantasy magic aspect fell a little flat for me. Now let's get into the graphic novels that I read, and excuse me for not always mentioning like the author, illustrator and stuff like that. I can't. It's too many names, but I will show you the covers here so you can see the names there. So first off, I read Giant Days Volume 3, and I do have to say I overall really enjoy these graphic novels, but for me they are kind of just getting, not worse. Worse sounds like horrible, but like the first one got 5 stars and then the second one got 4 stars and now this one only got 3 stars. I don't know, it was enjoyable, but nothing special for me. I still love it. I'm still very much looking forward to Volume 4, but it's not like I'm going crazy about it right now because I just kind of felt like it just wasn't as good as the other ones. Then I read Lumberjanes Volume 1. This is a graphic novel that I have been kind of wanting to read for a really long time. This was also really enjoyable. It's another graphic novel that I feel like is kind of similar to Giant Days. It has like a basic setting and this kind of group of characters, and then just basically like random situations, not really like an ongoing plot. But I still really enjoyed it because the characters are just really amazing. It is definitely a little bit like crazy, but I definitely enjoyed reading through it, and I also gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read Seconds. This is a graphic novel standalone, and this one was absolutely amazing. I thought this was just, you know, another like quirky, fun, cute graphic novel. And it was for a really long time, but then it took such a dark and deep turn and had such a great, important, amazing message that it just kind of really blew me away. It was so crazy and shocked me in some places and really made me think, and I really enjoyed it and I can only highly recommend it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It is definitely one of my favorite graphic novels that I've read this year. I mean, I haven't read that many, but out of the things that I've read, this is definitely one of my favorites. And finally, I read In Real Life. This is another standalone graphic novel, and it's another one that I found enjoyable but wasn't like loving. It is a really interesting concept because it is about a girl that is playing an online game, basically similar to World of Warcraft. That was definitely one of the aspects obviously I loved, since I am also a gamer and I love World of Warcraft. It's one of my obsessions. Like, I haven't played it for a really long time because I know once I get started again, I'm gone. Like, World of Warcraft was definitely most often the reason why I was in a reading slump. So I could like already relate to it, and I just found it pretty fascinating. And what I liked so much about this is that obviously a lot of the kind of pictures took place in the game. We saw the actual game, how it looked like, how the kind of character of the main character looked like, how the world around it looked like, and I definitely enjoyed that aspect a lot. But what the story is actually about is very like deep, because in this game she gets to know a guy from China, I think, who's like kind of has a job that is related to this game and works for like really horrible hours and just, you know, like doesn't really make a lot of money. And while I find it really interesting to incorporate these things together, I just felt like with the amount of pages that this graphic novel had, it just wasn't enough to really explore this issue on a deeper level. I liked the concept, the idea, and I think it could have been really well done, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, it had like 150 pages or something, and just not enough to explore this kind of thing and this kind of deep and important issue that this graphic novel was supposed to have. There wasn't enough space for this kind of deep and meaningful, important issue to talk about. But still, overall, I enjoyed it. As I said, I really liked this kind of seeing the world. Gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And this was everything that I read in December, the final month of 2016, and I'm definitely fine with everything that I've read. I hope I get to read a lot more graphic novels in 2017. Let me know what your favorite book of December was, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!